Hi friends, brothers and sisters, I'm Anya and welcome to Pathways of Hope. Today's gospel comes from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 18, verses 9 to 14. And this is when Jesus tells the parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector. To start our reflection today, I want us to just think about this question. When you find yourself in a difficult situation, who do you trust? Or who do you depend on? Do you depend on others? Do you depend on yourself? Or do you depend on God? I'm asking this question because Jesus actually directed this parable to those who trusted themselves, to those who viewed themselves as righteous. And personally, I can actually count many times that I was like the Pharisee. I was someone who trusted only in myself. Whenever I find myself in a team or working with a team doing group work, and there's this task that needs to be done, I tend to trust myself to do it because I know my own capabilities, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, I know how to get the job done. But then when I try to depend on others for a task, I get this anxiety, like, how will I know that they will do a good job? Or how will I know that the outcome will be good? And at times, I find myself like this also when I try to rely on God or when I try to trust God. I find myself asking God, how will I know that the outcome will be good? So reflect today, who do you relate to in this parable, the Pharisee or the tax collector? Try to be honest with yourself. Because I think just as people, we find ourselves more like the Pharisee. And I think it's because we just want to view ourselves as good people. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's good to want to be a good person. But just this desire to look like a good person, we can tend to be blinded of what our sins are. We tend to blind ourselves because we want to be good. But it's important for us to be honest to ourselves and see that we can actually be bad people. And it's just the truth because we are all sinners. You are a sinner, I am a sinner. And we need to see that in its truth. And that's why our parable today, Jesus invites us to have this disposition of the tax collector, a disposition of humility, bows down his head and says, "Oh God, be merciful to me, a sinner." It's important for us to be aware of our sins, to just become and be honest to ourselves and see it for what they are, and come before the Lord. And all of that, all the ugliness, all the sinfulness, our wickedness, our shame, our guilt, holding that, being aware of that, and coming before the Lord in humility to ask for His forgiveness. It may be a negative view of ourselves, but the point here is that in this truth of the negativity that we have in our sin, is that we are drawn to ask for forgiveness. We're drawn to ask for God's mercy. In our gospel today, it says that the latter went home justified. The tax collector went home justified. Those who receive and ask for God's mercy are justified. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but the one who humbles himself will be exalted. So Jesus is really asking us to have this disposition of humility. And so let's reflect today, what are our sins? Who are we? What areas in our life fall short from glorifying God, from loving God? Let's take all that and come in humility before our God to ask for His forgiveness, to ask for His mercy, that we may also be justified, that we may be also exalted. Psalm 136 says, "Give thanks to God, for He is good. His mercy endures forever." God's mercy endures forever. God's mercy is everlasting. And it's good for us to ask for it, that we may also be exalted in God's glory. If you have been blessed by this short reflection, remember to like and share Pathways of Hope to your friends and loved ones. Again, I'm Anya. Thank you and God bless you.